Welcome to Soccer Down Here's look at the USL Championship. We'll let you know what happened last week, get you ready for the weekend with some big matchups in league play, get you caught up with what happened last night with an opponent for Atlanta United 2 getting some action in division. And we'll also catch up with our guest this week, center back Joe Farrell of Phoenix Rising FC. And it was an interesting conversation catching up with Joe, where we got to find out about what it was like to learn from legends, what it's been like to see the club grow to where it is and the season to date, plus a little bit of a scouting report for their matchup this weekend against Sacramento Republic in their division. So let's get you caught up with everything that has gone on in and around the USL Championship. First and foremost, a very familiar face gets Player of the Week in USL Championship for moments like this.
Mejia will track it down. He'll send it in with the right, top of the six, parried away, volley, back in! And you see Burner parry it, and then on the volley, send it right back where it came from. Segbers.
Aiden McFadden for Atlanta United 2 ends up as your Player of the Week in USL Championship, and also looking at the rest of the Team of the Week, we'll give you the look there for what was the remainder of the folks there for your starting 11. We'll get you into power rankings just as well in just a little bit. But when you have Aiden McFadden, obviously with his 4 goals in 2 games, it was great stuff that Jason Longshore, Jeff Lorenowitz, and myself got to see up close and personal when it came to the successes for Atlanta United 2 over the last week. The rest of the Team of the Week for Week 5, presented by Clear Audio. In goal, Brandon Miller of the Charlotte Independents. Ryan Flood was one of 3 members of Phoenix Rising to make Team of the Week. Rufat Dadashov and Solomon Asante were the other 2. Sam Hamilton from New Mexico United and Matthew DePlon from San Antonio were your defense. McFadden, Roald Mitchell from Red Bulls 2, Kadeem Dakers, who you got to see when Atlanta United 2 took on Memphis 901. Chris Weehan, also from Orange County. Gordon Wild, a familiar face for folks in Atlanta, made it for his time with Indy 11. So once again, Aiden McFadden, Player of the Week, well-deserved honor for his 4 goals on the week. Look at your power rankings, and let's see just how far Atlanta United 2 got to move up. Tampa still stays at number 1. El Paso, with their win over Rio Grande Valley, ends up at number 2, up 1 spot. And you can look at the power rankings any week at uslchampionship.com. Your number 3 was Phoenix Rising. Lou City is your number 4. New Mexico United, number 5. Rio Grande Valley with the loss drops to number 6. Indy 11 at 7. San Antonio at 8. FC Tulsa, with their big loss to Atlanta United 2, drops 7 spots to number 9. Orange County SC up 6 from 16 is your number 10. Some other teams of note heading down the table. Charlotte Independents at 13. Atlanta United 2 up 10 spots from 25 to 15. Birmingham at 16. The Miami FC at 17. Charleston down to 21. Pittsburgh at 22. Memphis 901 from 23 to 25 with their loss. Loudoun United's at 27. OKC Energy at 28. And that is your look at power rankings from the eastern side of the Mississippi. Also, a couple of notes in and around the league. El Paso Locomotive signed their first 4 players to USL Academy contracts. Joel Maldonado, Jimmy Villagomez, Edwin Villarreal, and Harrison Shaw, adding to the pedigree that's being established by El Paso Locomotive. And if you remember how much of a handful Jorge Luis Corrales was for FC Tulsa and how much he has been, Corrales, Fort Lauderdale CF's Modesto Mendez, and Dyron Reyes, they've all been named to the Cuba men's national team squad that will compete in World Cup qualifying in June. So really cool stuff there when it comes to what we've seen from the FC Tulsa folks and the rest of USL Championship. A couple of notes from midweek matches. Austin Bold continues their home opener success with a 2-0 win over Real Monarchs. Last night, also, it was a chance for Atlanta United 2 fans to kind of get some advanced scouting. Birmingham Legion, basically in a monsoon, went up against OKC Energy. Here's your highlights, courtesy of our friends at the USL Championship in YouTube.
Birmingham Legion FC in their attack black, Oklahoma City Energy in their change white strip. And there's the whistle. This midweek matchup in the Magic City between Birmingham and Oklahoma City is underway. Pass across the park, picked off. James got there first. Legion with a chance to counter. Here comes Lapa. Lapa cuts it inside, lets it go from distance, just over the bar.
Past the top of the crossbar.
One more look here as Lapa cut it inside. Got it off through an inch of space. So the first real set-piece opportunity of the night for the home side. Lapa and Ryan James stand over it here for Birmingham. It's Lapa to serve it in towards the back post. Kleeman got ahead to it, but it's just wide of that post. Asiadu trying to bring it down and hold off a man, does so. And finds Lapa. Lapa with Dean running the channel. Great ball from Lapa. Dean with a first-time service. J.J. Williams leaves it for Lapa! Birmingham have an early goal in the second half, and it's that man again. Bruno Lapa finds the score sheet for the first time in 2021. 1-0 to the Legion. One more look here. What a leave. A dummy from Williams leaves it for Lapa in a clean shooting lane.
Bruno Lapa from 12 yards out. He's not going to miss from there.
And now Kavita as we approach the hour mark in Birmingham, Alabama. 1-0 our scoreline. Birmingham in front. J.J. Williams looking for more. Here comes Williams. His shot just wide.
He can strike a ball with his right. He can strike it with his left. It's from distance, but he didn't miss by very much. He's passed up a few opportunities in the first half. He looks more assertive going to goal in the second.
So 3 changes now made tonight for OKC Energy. Birmingham prepping at least one more down below. But first, another attack forthcoming here for Birmingham Legion. Here comes Williams again, running right at the defense. Leaves it for Lapa. Lapa's shot just wide.
J.J. Williams does a great job of running at the defense. Drew 4 defenders. Bruno Lapa with a pretty good first touch. A little frustration with himself for pulling that one wide left. But another pretty good chance, and Bruno Lapa getting way more involved in the attack than he has been the last few games. Another good serve in, but Kleeman has been a beast in the center of the back.
Ellis Hayden to try from distance. That's well off the mark, and there is the final whistle. Birmingham Legion FC defend their home turf, a 3-point performance.
Time for our interview this week, and this time we go out west. Phoenix Rising FC with a big week last weekend, knocking off Las Vegas Lights 5-1 at Wild Horse Pass. We get to catch up with someone who's been a veteran of the side for the last handful of years. He was in his first match of the season, center back Joe Farrell. Farrell ends up with a big goal that kind of got things rolling for Phoenix Rising in the match against Vegas Lights. And we got to catch up with him on a couple of different topics. A very, very cool interview about the growth of the team, playing in your own barn, the hot start this season, a little scouting of Sacramento Republic, and learning from legends. So here's our interview with Joe Farrell. Time to catch up with everything going on with Phoenix Rising, and time to catch up with someone who got a goal on the score sheet last time out. So, all right, so now you're on pace for what, 30 goals this year, Joe? Is that how this is working?
Hopefully. I'll take as many as I can get.
So let's go back a little bit. Let's go back to last weekend and the match that was at one point tied at 1, and then someone that we both know scored to make it 2-1, and that kind of put the pedal down from there. Go through the play for me and what it was like to put the ball in the back of the net.
Absolutely. So as you mentioned, we got off to a great start. Rufat Dadashov scored in the third minute, I believe. But then Las Vegas came back. I think we were a little sloppy and got a little content for a stretch in the first half. And Vegas kind of they made us pay a little bit. They equalized, and then we were heading towards halftime. And it was probably about I think it's about the 38th, 39th minute or so. We got a corner kick, and Solomon Asante whipped in a great ball. Rufat challenged for it. It went over his head, but it took away at one of the defenders, and then I found myself in a good space, and I knocked it to the back post.
And that pretty much put the pedal down from there. It went from
that made it 2-1, and then I think that made a huge impact in the locker room at halftime. I think that gave us a little bit more confidence, and we came out. Santi Moore scored a great goal, really early in the second half, and that also was the full foot down to the pedal. And then from there, we kind of just took over the game.
All right, so out of the blocks at 3-1, let me go back to the one and talk about it a little bit. With a full season finally, where everyone can sit there and anticipate you're going to be playing more than 30, and it's as regular as it can be. The USL Championship this year put some of those big crossover matchups in the kitty, and Phoenix and Tampa go at it. What was that like? From the aspect of going after the Kings of the East as you're the Kings of the West.
Yeah, well, I was one of the ones that was there last year when we flew out there end of October, looking for a November 1st championship. So it did bring back a lot of energy and a lot of memories for me. And it was an interesting game. It was tough conditions. The wind off the bay was pretty intense. Getting used to the field, all the travel. But I don't think we came out and played our best game. And I think it was a great learning experience, though. We came out and we were unlucky and scored an own goal pretty early in the game. And then we were chasing the game the whole time. So definitely an early lesson in the season. And it's always great to play great opponents. And Tampa's one of the best in the East. So that's definitely a challenge that now we kind of know what to expect looking forward, and in particularly going away in our conference and playing road matches in our conference. We now know we had a great preparation playing against Tampa, and they're a great side, and hopefully we can meet up with them again around November this year. But I think moving forward, I think we'll have memories of the Tampa game, and I think that'll make us a better team as we progress through the season.
And obviously you've been looking at my notes heading into this interview, because my next question has to do with travel. And I think that it's something that fans may not necessarily understand a lot when it comes to travel in the USL Championship and travel of the teams that they follow or teams that they may notice from their league. What is it like in USL Championship from a Phoenix perspective to travel from one end of the world to the other for a match, and the familiarities there and trying to get all the kinks out? What is it like to travel in the USL Championship?
Yeah, it's interesting. So Phoenix Rising, in my opinion, is one of the best supported clubs, from the front office, the owners, all the way down. And they really treat their players pretty well. So we actually flew out pretty early. We flew out on a Thursday, I believe, just to kind of get a little acquainted to not only the humidity down in Tampa, but also the time change, which I think is the biggest thing. So we went Thursday after training, and we fly commercial. So we just think we were United that day. We flew United down to Tampa, got there early on a Thursday, woke up Friday, trained in Tampa, which was good. Break a good sweat, and then a good night's sleep, and then we were playing Saturday night, and then we ended up flying home Sunday morning. But traveling and going away, playing away, and doesn't matter where you go, it's always a different experience, and it's always a different challenge. It doesn't matter where you go, you always find new environments and new things in each game that you kind of have to process during the game and understand and pick up things, because you're playing in a new environment and in a new stadium. And I think, obviously, we love playing at home here, and the new facilities here are amazing, and the fan support here is amazing. So we love a home game, but it's a fun challenge going on the road and trying to get 3 points, because we believe every time we go out that we can get 3 points. So
you mentioned the new digs, and I wanted to get into that too. You've been there for a couple of seasons, and you've been able to see the progression from modular to building something to having a home. What's it been like for you as one of the veterans there with Phoenix Rising to sit there and see things progress to where they are now when it comes to having a home, which we all know is key?
Yeah, well, it's been an amazing ride. This is my 4th season now, and I think the whole plan for Rising, ever since the branding was brilliant. They wanted to promote soccer in Arizona. They wanted to bring an MLS franchise to Arizona, and they've been working on that ever since. I think they set great foundations by bringing in the likes of Peter Ramage, Sean Wright Phillips, Jordan Stewart, Didier Drogba. The names go on and on. So they really sent from the start, they had a good vision, and they've really been pushing forward each year, and they have been taking steps every year to make those small changes necessary to not only create a winning team, but a winning franchise and having long-term success. So I think that they've been doing a great job with that.
What's it been like having those guys around? Because it's not every day you can sit there and go to an SWP or sit there and go to Didier Drogba and sit there and, tap him on the shoulder and go, dude, I got a question for you. Mm-hmm. What's it like to have those kinds of sounding boards, knowing that the team is going to invest and bring those kind of folks there to be a part of Phoenix Rising? What's it like to have those guys that you can have as sounding boards?
I will never in my life forget the year where I sat across the locker room from Didier Drogba. That was the things I learned. I was all ears. I was anything that man would say. I would go home. I'd take notes on it. He's an icon. He's a king, and he's really a great person through and through. He would stay after trainings and help some of the younger guys with free kicks or finishing. He would always have a discussion. If you're feeling down or he noticed that you were down a little bit, he'd pull you over and have a one-on-one meeting. Keep your head up and kind of that motivation thing. He was the true leader. He was amazing. I have so many great memories of Didier. Sean Wright Phillips is a funny one as well. So I'm a Man City fan. And the reason why is because in America, I didn't really have the EPL until around 2008 or so, until I got I think Fox SoccerNet on cable. And with that's when I started watching teams. So I'm like, all right, I have to pick a team. I had FIFA. And the quickest player in the game is Sean Wright Phillips. I would have him on the wing at Man City, run up and down the sideline until Carlos Tevez got open in the middle, cross it, goal every time. So that I became a Man City fan in about 2008, 2009 or so. And he was retired when I came out here. So he played the first year out here, but I wasn't out here, or he retired for my first year. He was still living out here, so I had plenty of opportunities to meet up with him and hang out with him. And he's a great guy as well, awesome lad. And he's doing great things as he's always been doing. So really great experiences, yeah.
What was the first lesson? Obviously you were a sponge in front of Didier Drogba, but what was the first lesson that stuck with you from the time that you were spending with him?
It wasn't necessarily one particular lesson. It was more or less the way he carried himself and the way that he just walked into a room and he was friendly, kind with everyone and had smiles on his face, and just the way that he is such a huge star. He could have not showed up to training. He could have done his own thing. He could have, and we still would have absolutely loved every moment we had with him. But he was a genuine guy through and through, and just the way that he carried himself, and he's such a brave man, and I look up to him every day. He's an icon. So
we're at halftime with Joe Farrell here with Phoenix Rising FC as we take a deeper dive into the USL Championship here on Soccer Down Here. So let's look at the Pacific Division this year. Some of the divisions have some different dance partners and things like that, but you're looking at Los Dos, LA Galaxy 2, Tacoma Defiance, who've had some rough seasons in the past, Sacramento Republic, one of the stalwarts of USL Championship, Orange County SC, who's come on the last couple of years, Oakland Roots will be a new opponent for you this year, in San Diego, and we talked about Vegas already. When you look at the Pacific Division, what do you see?
Yeah, I think it's pretty competitive through and through. We've last year we had the small, even smaller divisions, and we faced a bunch of the similar teams. And we've already played about, I think, every team except Tampa has been in the division. So we're 3-0 so far. But we know that we have to hold the whole season, keep our focus and just keep stacking 3 points as much as we can. Of course, every season comes with challenges. So we'll face challenges. We got a big challenge this weekend, coming away game with Sacramento. And we faced them in the playoffs last year. So that's always a good test. And we got a lot of interesting games on the schedule, and we just have to keep focusing 1 week at a time. And the staff does a great job giving us some video and content each week, and kind of lighten the fire a little bit each week. So we just try and keep going and keep stacking 3 points. And I think when I look at our division, I think Phoenix Rising is at the top, because that's where we want to be.
All right. So without giving too much away, unless you want to give away some state secrets, which is perfectly fine, uh, with what you've been able to study so far about Sacramento, what's video been like? What's independent study been like? When you see Sacramento, obviously they're out of the blocks at 2-1 right now, below you in points in the standings. But you mentioned how Sacramento is a part of the fabric of the Pacific. But what's study hall been like so far?
Study hall, we've been focusing mainly on attacking and defending the 3-4-3, which is we faced already a few times with San Diego and then Tampa. And then now these guys also play a more of a 3-4-3 type of formation. So we've been studying kind of areas where we believe we can break them down and trying to get into good areas and good pockets and get turned and facing goal. That's been a big key. Breaking lines has been a big key. And defensively, what like we've always been doing is the main focus every week is offensive defending, because we know we'll get into the opponent's half, and then the object is to then keep them there. Even if they win the first ball, second ball, to just keep them there and win it down and get possession back. So that's really been our focus all season long, breaking lines and the offensive defending. We changed little intricacies here and there just on winger rotation or center mid rotation, whichever position we think we can exploit that week. But again, it's just breaking down the 3-4-3.
So with guys like Santi Mowar, with Rufat Dadashov, Solomon Asante, Prince Saidi, the firepower is there for Phoenix. That's unquestioned. What's it like going up against that in practice?
Oh, it's great. It's great for us. It puts us in great condition for Saturdays or Friday nights. Going up against some of these guys for the last 3-4 years have made me a 10 times better player than I was coming in here. Noticing the moments and the movements of some of these higher thinkers like Didier or like Solomon Asante, going up against that every day in training really makes you raise your level. So I think it pushes us as a defense to get stronger each and every day and figure out some guys' tendencies and then try and apply what we learn in training to the weekend.
How does a guy from Bluebell, Pennsylvania, and LaSalle, when the first thing that pops into my head is Lionel Simmons, and Red Bulls, go from Rochester to Phoenix? What was that adjustment like for you, being a Rhino and going to Phoenix?
It was, for me, it was an adventure. This whole time's been an adventure. I've always been on the East Coast. I'm from just outside Philadelphia. I went to school inside Philadelphia. I trained with Philly Union's Academy. I trained with Red Bulls when I was under 23. So I've always kind of been in the East Coast, like northern side, and then Rochester is the furthest north I went. So I was never more than 4 or 5 hours away from home, and I was ready to kind of branch out and see what else was out there. And I came to Phoenix, and I'm so thankful that I have. It's become almost like a second home for me out here. I love the city. The people out here are amazing. The club, the fan base, everything's awesome. So I'm really thankful that I took a risk. But again, going back, not to name drop him again, but Didier Drogba. So Rick Shantz actually called me when I was signing my contract, or when they were proposing a contract to me after my second year in Rochester. And he said, it's going to be Didier's last season, and we want to bring a championship to Phoenix. So we didn't get it that year. We lost just short in the final, but we're still hunting that down, trying to bring that trophy to Phoenix.
All right. 2 more things before we go. Go ahead and show the T-shirt. What are you sporting today? There we go.
This one is some other silverware. It's the 2019 regular season title. So when we first got the regular season #1 seed.
And then, since you mentioned Manchester City, I'll go into that a little bit before we go. Where were you the day Manchester City finally won the title in the free-for-all that was back and forth with Manchester in the points, and you score in the 96th, and Aguero?
Oh, where was I that exact day? I'm not actually certain. I think I'm typically busy on Saturdays myself, so I don't know exactly where I was, but I do remember the chills seeing that goal for the first time, and it was truly an awesome experience. That was awesome. I grew up playing with Zach Steffen, so I'm still supporting the light blue, and big fan.
That's why I figured I'd bring it up. Pep celebrates with a little pizza and some singing, some Oasis. We figured we'd bring that up as well.
Absolute scenes.
Joe Farrell, thanks for hanging out with us and giving us the pulling back of the curtain with everything there in Phoenix with Phoenix Rising. We'll be keeping an eye on things. Good luck this weekend against a very tough Sacramento side. We'll be keeping an eye. We'll be keeping in touch. Thanks for hanging out with us here on SDH as we cover the USL Championship.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thanks to Phoenix Rising and to Joe for letting us kind of see how things are out west. And that's what we're going to be doing this season in the USL Championship. We're going to be kind of going all over the place, chasing all of the hot stories and all the information just so everyone can stay as up-to-date on the USL Championship as they can, just like Soccer Down Here does with our coverage of USL League One. So we've got matchups this weekend in USL Championship. And when you look at juice boxes, we'll give you a couple of juice box numbers for activity. One matchup, Red Bulls 2 in Pittsburgh on the 28th. Right now, Red Bulls 2 is at a plus 172. Your draw's at a plus 267. And Pittsburgh, a very defensive side traditionally, is at a plus 138. Now, let's take a look at the schedule this weekend. And remember, all matches, if they're not on the mothership, they're available on ESPN Plus for the last weekend of May. Big spread on Saturday and Sunday. So big spread. All right, quick. We've got a lot of stuff to do here on Saturday. At Hartford, Real Monarchs in one of those East-West crossovers. Real Monarchs are at Hartford, 7:30, Indy 11 at Lou City for the Lipa FC for the first go-round of that this year. At Ricardo Silver Stadium at Florida International, Charlotte visits the Miami FC. 8:30 at Taft, OKC Energy hosts Memphis 901. Toyota Field in San Antonio, Rio Grande Valley tries to rebound against a very tough San Antonio FC side. Isotopes Park at 9:30 Eastern, New Mexico United hosts Loudoun United. 10 o'clock at Championship Soccer Stadium, Los Dos, LA Galaxy 2 take on Orange County SC. 10:32 starts the aforementioned matchup with Phoenix Rising visiting Sacramento Republic at Hard Health Park. And at Torero Stadium on the campus of the University of San Diego, it's Vegas Lights and the Loyal. 3 matches on Sunday, one of them at 3:30. It is Atlanta United 2 hosting Birmingham Legion. Jason Longshore and myself will be there on ESPN Plus to give you all the action there. Can Atlanta United 2 continue their hot homestand where every match so far has yielded points? That's the question going up against the Birmingham Legion side that's had some changes under Tom Stone in the offseason. 5 o'clock at Children's Mercy Park, El Paso Locomotive visits Sporting Kansas City 2. 9 o'clock at Bold Stadium inside the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Tacoma Defiance. Visit the Austin Bold. Go to uslchampionship.com to get in all the votes for Goal of the Week and everything else that you need to know when it comes to USL Championship. Don't forget ESPN Plus for all of your viewing pleasure when it comes to the USL Championship as well. And remember, once again, 3:30 Sunday afternoon, Birmingham Legion on very short rest visits Atlanta United 2. So once again, thanks to the Phoenix Rising, thanks to Joe Farrell for hanging out with us, and thanks to you for being a part of our coverage of the USL Championship. Big weekend in divisions all across. We have some East-West matchups as well. We'll let you hear about them all this time next week. So play it safe, everybody. Enjoy the games. That's Soccer Down Here's look at the USL Championship.